This is the North End. This is the North End.
Hello, North Enders. Welcome to the North End YouTube channel. It is the North End Reviews and Previews. I am here with Forrest, Miss JP California, and our special guest, Simi. Great to have you guys here. I'm going to start with Paul, of course, on the top of the screen there. Paulie, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm getting ready for a week away somewhere warm and sunny.
Where are you going?
I'm going to go to the Dominican with the fam, the wife and the kid. My wife just told me that before we go, she's going to shear me like a sheep. So I got something.
What does
to look
that say
to.
about everything that's going to happen?
Yeah, my wife has a very specific kink.
Nice.
I don't know.
Great way to start the show. Love it.
I don't want to say too much, but I definitely need it. I wouldn't want to be the guy who's confused for Sasquatch by the pool. I could probably use a bit of a trim.
Does that mean the beard's coming off too?
No, God, no. I'm talking totally below the neck.
All right.
This is
well.
bad.
It's funny. It's interesting, Paul. We have that possible. A company that's going to represent us that might help you out with that in the future. Well, we can't. I don't think we can say it yet, but possible sponsorship on the way.
Yeah.
JP,
what a weird coincidence.
I know, right? JP, good to see you, buddy. I heard before we started that it's a little bit toasty where you are at the moment.
It is extremely toasty. It was like 85, 90 degrees. I think that's, I don't know, what is that, like 27 for you guys?
But
so I'm wearing the Villa tank top that the Villa team wear about once a year, maybe in England.
Because they can't afford sleeves? They're saving money?
No. They just never need it. It's also cold in England, apparently. Villa are pretty rich right now, so I'm pretty happy. And, we got a result, so I'm super happy. I'm just a happy guy right now, I'm good.
Well, piss off, JP. Simi, I had a bad day today. Great to see you, pal. Great. Thanks for coming back on the channel. Have you been on the YouTubes yet, or is this your first YouTube go?
First, first time a YouTuber here.
Nice. Well, welcome to the channel. Baby. We've moved over to what the kids are doing these days. I think actually the kids are on Twitch. We're just we're a little bit behind, but we're trying to keep up. But it's good to have you here, Simi. How's things going? I mean, you must be pretty happy with your team at the moment.
Yeah. Well, we're thrilled that, believe it or not, thrilled that Liverpool won the Caribou Cup, because now it's officially a real trophy. So all those ones that we have are now locked in as trophies that we've won. So.
The asterisk still doesn't go away, Simi. Come on.
Hey, for those who don't know, he's a Manchester City guy. I know Baby Blue
maybe the
sometimes...
shirt would give it away, but.
Well, you can't really see the logo when he's wearing baby blue beside an Aston Villa guy wearing baby blue. Let's just be very clear. Simi is like one of the head guys in Manchester City, Toronto, where we are currently recording, and some of us are in California.
Live from.
But Simi, yeah, man, tell me, like, you guys are in it for Champions League. You guys are in it for the league this year. It's looking like a good tight race, but I think you guys will control your own fate. I have you guys down as favorites for the Champions League this year too. That's.
Well, yeah, I mean,
kiss of death.
Obviously the second leg is going to Sporting with that 5-0. I thought that was pretty incredible Sporting is the type of style they play and stuff. So it's getting 5 up on them. I can't look over the mighty Peterborough this afternoon, 2-0 win. Always a tough one playing Peterborough in the FA Cup, so advance there. And obviously the league, I mean, still as a big Premiership fan, I know a lot of people say, like, I was chatting with you the other day, said, would you trade up, this year? They ask every year, would you trade Champions League for the league? It's like, well, I think the Premiership is one of the hardest leagues to win in any sport, and by far in football, right? Like, not even comparable. So, and it just shows with the thin margins when the Regs, well, I mean, Watford's battled them hard. I mean, probably about comparable teams anyways. But I mean, we play Everton. Everton plays great, whatever. Like it's 1-0 games, sometimes 2-0, 2-1 stuff. So I think that the league is still something that I think we take a lot of pride in, and making sure that the rotations are right.
Are you guys at that place I used to love as being a United fan, because it I mean, it was a time and a place. Well, it's been a long time, but where you're checking the scores of other games, where you're like checking the Liverpool scores, like you're looking over your shoulder, like every weekend is a little combination of what you're doing, but what Liverpool are doing, because that's kind of the fun of being in the race, right?
That's why we like a race.
And Liverpool, I'll give them credit. Like they're playing without some big guys for quite some time. They're playing great football and putting up points, right? So I mean, everyone wants a race, and I think it's showing in the league a little bit of separation now between the two, and then 3, 4, 5, and there's some gaps there. But then you got your relegation battles and stuff going on as well. So are we looking at other results? Yeah, I mean, you always kind of do. Got that damn score app, right? So can't not. But it's been pretty fun, and I think it's gonna, March, April, May is the time of go. What you can get at here, and the Champions League starts kicking off pretty good, and FA Cup miracles are happening. So, it's pretty.
Simi, what are your thoughts on the Champions League in particular? Because I do know that there's a bit of a thought that City can't get over the line here. Not even just City, but Pep struggles as well. He struggled at Bayern, and is it an issue for you? Do you care that much if you don't actually win it, or is it like top of priority because it's you've won enough leagues now that Europe should be sort of the next level or the next step that City should take?
It's really tough because I mean last year obviously pandemic wise you're playing Chelsea in the final, beat in the FA Cup to put it's like you want that, but I wouldn't have traded last year for the league. It's not something that I still want the league. I still think that would be if I had to choose it. If someone said you got one or the other, you have to, or you get none, I still would go league over that. But Champions League obviously, and people are gonna say he was just saying that because they never win it. Yeah, fuck, we underperform in that and in these one game type things, right? We've won.
Tinker Pep loves his tweaking for no good reason in the big game. In those big games, it's pretty funny.
Well, look, last year against Chelsea, right? They had a great game plan. We couldn't get behind them. They had those 5 minute cross, and it was got us there and in the FA. So but it's something we definitely want.
Well, just remember, if you win the league this year and prevent Liverpool from winning a title, you're really just doing God's work. Nobody wants them to
I'd rather
win a title.
I'd rather Liverpool win. I'd rather Liverpool than City.
I want Liverpool to win.
Yeah, two of us would rather Liverpool than City.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No.
City,
Well, you guys are dumb. You guys are just a pair of dummies.
We just
don't listen to them, Simi.
We just don't like Man United teams.
Don't listen to them.
Or Manchester teams, I should say.
Liverpool are insufferable whenever they win anything.
They are also insufferable. I don't like them either.
Unfortunately, it's getting hard to
just
find.
Saying that because Zaz isn't on.
It's getting hard to find fans and Liverpool fans to like chat with sometimes because just like in your face, right? And so some of them you get a whole, they actually can talk a bit of footy, but it's kind of it's very difficult when they win something.
We had a fellow on last week who's going to be contributing with us, is Zaz, who did a great job. Liverpool supporter, not that type of Liverpool supporter. Very smart guy, spoke well, understands the league, understands their place is in it. Maybe we get closer towards the end of the season if that race is still on. We'll get you both on at the same time and have a little chat. It'll be fun to see how that goes.
I was going to ask because related to Zaz, because he came over and he's an organizer of guys going to bars and girls going to bars to watch sporting events to support their clubs. I know the Man City fans have been dying to get together at your spot, but are you guys fully like good to go every weekend? Like we're raring?
Yeah, for sure. Like we started off right when we could get back into it, kind of ease our way into it. We have such an amazing supporters club. So, we got our,
Simi, could you tell everybody what it is? Because I don't think we've even mentioned the name of your
Opera Bob's. Sorry, the bar is Opera Bob's.
Dundas
Street,
and where it is and stuff. Yeah.
Dundas, Ossington. We've been in the sports club there for 13 years almost. We were talking earlier about sports clubs having to move and stuff, and it breaks my heart because I think these clubs are amazing. Not only for like the bars, it's great for, but the friendships that people build there and stuff. And you see it. You kind of it goes outside of football. You see people, Friday nights, birthdays, weekends, whatever. You play like really shitty slow pitch together and stuff. And but I find that we started in a bit slow and just our members. We've had a very favorable schedule. The last I think we've had 12:30 starts 3 in a row. So that's helped.
That's cushy.
I mean,
those are great for you guys, right?
Guys, how it goes, lose clock. So. And then this weekend
And
coming
you
up,
win every time, so you celebrate for 4 or 5 hours after every game, basically.
Barely-
Except
barely
for Spurs,
la-
of course.
barely last
Except
weekend,
for Spurs.
Must be nice not have to wake up at 6
JP
and 7
California is
a.m.,
like,
so
I
it's
have
off.
my breakfast and a beer at 7 a.m. for kickoff.
Yep, I do.
Yeah.
yeah, there are some perks.
But then
out
you
here.
complain about the heat, so fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
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 Yeah, we got the derby this weekend, right? So that's 11:30 on Sunday, right? So we'll have our members only type thing, what we do for derbies and big games like that. And
Do you let supporters from opposite clubs come in during a derby like that? Would you let Paul in? No, fuck him, right?
there's a we
Don't do it.
we're smart serve certified, right? So we don't want to serve,
Yeah.
Just
Those
going by the laws here.
can't be any dumb people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Well,
I've
let's
stopped by there before. I've poked my head in.
Yeah, not during a derby.
Depending on
though.
the result, I poked my head in very quickly to say certain things and then run away.
Walking by fast enough, the park's nearby. You can make it.
We'll do a live one there at some point and get into it.
Yeah, that'll be fun, man. Well, yeah, Opera
cool.
Bob's. It's at Dundas and Ossington in Toronto in the West End. Great place, just a great pub. Anyways, even if you're not a City fan, you want to go by there and get some good grub and some good pints. It's a good spot. So
The fucking
hop on over
burger,
there.
man. Your burger's choice.
Burger's dope. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
All right, let's get into some results, fellas.
Oh, footy.
Here we
Football.
go. Molly, over to you, pal.
Lots to talk about. The end of Bielsa ball. The top 4 races heating up, and the refs getting involved in the title. Our first game
Cheeky
of
bastard.
the week was a Friday. Southampton 2, Norwich 0. Southampton stretched their home run to 10 games at home unbeaten. And Norwich back to losing with 3 straight losses after a run of 3 games unbeaten. It is looking like there's no escape in sight for Norwich.
Post.
In a game that could not have been better timed for certain Spurs fans, Spurs face Leeds and just put him to the sword. 4-0. This is the end of Bielsa ball. He and the club separate, part ways. They break up, they divorce, they consciously uncouple.
JP gets his
whatever the
wish.
phrase is.
Oh.
After allowing 14 goals in 4 games. Somewhere out in California, JP was smug. Very
14 goals in 4 games. If you don't shut up shop after a 6-0 whooping and you get beat 4-0, I'm sorry. You deserve to get the chopping block. He didn't make changes.
Hey, no, JP, I agree. He definitely needed to get the sack. It's just my only position was he's not going to change. That was all my position.
Like he was never going to change.
Whatever was going to happen happened.
That made me. Oh God, it wound me up.
Spurs run rampant in this game, and it was
pretty unbelievable. The polarizing nature of Leeds fans. The reaction to this.
Yeah,
he is rightfully so the best thing that's ever happened to Leeds Football Club in the past 20 years.
Yeah.
Like easily. Like there's pictures of him training with the 11-year-olds on a Saturday or a Sunday in the summer when he shouldn't even be in England, and they love him rightfully for that. They have a style of play that's electric. It's exciting. It brought them up from the Championship. It gave them thrillers against teams in the Premier League. This has been a season that an entire spine of a team just knocked off. He's left with a Championship level team that plays a certain way, is not equipped to play, in my opinion, very much in different ways. He probably could have done something or appeased the fans and the critics by trying something. I'm of the mind that he knows football and knows his players better than any of his critics. So if he doesn't think it's worth trying to play Burnley ball, then whatever. But ultimately, something had to happen. It felt like it was a decision that he and the club made together mutually through a translator, obviously, because he doesn't speak English.
He speaks English fine. Apparently, he speaks English very good.
It's all
on the
through a translator. He's very clever to use a translator to
he does
allow him
to
swear at people
in a
to their
presser.
face.
It's smart, so he doesn't get misunderstood.
Deflect all the other things.
It's not Antonio Conte.
I for one am bummed. I'm going to be honest. I know JP was calling for his head for the entire season because he hates classic.
I love the
philosophical
romanticism
football
of it, and I loved how I loved how he grabbed onto the city. Like he didn't just pick any team. He picked a team that needed him. He picked a team that he was going to save, and he did it. But then he just wouldn't change, and that to me was the hard part. I couldn't buy that. I mean, I don't know who watched the Leeds documentary where they go up. and it was so moving, like when they win it, and it's like COVID, so they couldn't celebrate with fans, and then all the players get on the steps. It was great, and the romance of it was just unreal. I mean, he is a legend for Leeds, but he needed to go.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that, really. I mean,
you could shake your head at the whole inhumanity of it, but that's fine.
That's what Paul will do.
You're a monster, JP.
Yeah.
But we live and we learn. Brentford down to 10 men, lose 2-0 to Newcastle, allowing Newcastle to leapfrog over Brentford in the standings, increasingly looking like Newcastle will be fine. And this pre-January period will be a blip in their lives and as a existence of a club, this relegation race long past them seemingly, whereas Brentford have 1 point in the last 8 games out of a possible 24 points available, just sinking and sinking. Yeah. Not alone, obviously. Bielsa got fired because Leeds are in the similar boat where they're sinking, but it is looking like the relegation race this year is going to be one of the most interesting races.
Oh God, it's so
in the past 5 or 10 seasons that I can remember, because the mix of clubs that are like legitimately going to be in that bottom 3, probably 2 of them are set. That third, though, could be one of 5 or 6 different clubs, and we're talking about
big
like
clubs too, not just like
Everton are in the mix.
Everton in that conversation, Leeds in that conversation.
Burnley could get up, but they might stay. Like, it's so entertaining.
So you think,
mentioning
Thomas,
in this game,
Thomas Frank, right? Does he? You're just talking about Bielsa there. Like, he hasn't changed that much either. He's got a lot of injuries going against him. He's loved by Brentford. He's a legend there. Never get rid of him.
There's a little difference between Brentford and Leeds in the fact that Leeds needed to stay up. They have stars in that team that if they don't stay up, Leeds could be in real trouble to be stuck in the championship again.
Brentford will yo-yo for sure.
Brentford will yo-yo. They're a team that was built off cheap players. They're built off that money ball type play. And this is a great experience for them. And if they go down, I still think they're going to be stronger in the long run from this one season in the EPL. And I really did love how Leeds played last year. And I loved how Brentford played at the beginning of this season. But they are struggling really bad. I just don't, and they've tried to shut up shop, but they just can't do it.
And Brentford before, you got to sell sometimes too when you're in the championship and the money comes in. You go you turn it down and piss away 30 million or something. Like you gotta sell players when you've developed them that well.
Simi, quick question about Newcastle. I know we're talking about Brentford, but Newcastle, purchased by somebody who's much more rich than your owners. I'd be curious, what are your thoughts on that? When Newcastle surpass City because they have more money, will you think the way we do about Manchester City, about Newcastle?
Again, like I said, I'm so sorry.
I had to ask him. You can tell me to fuck off if you want. It's totally fine.
You can fuck off, but I mean, if you can buy the Premiership is you can buy a. In my mind, you can buy a
title.
Probably a top 16
legal team.
No, you can't buy a I don't think.
7 lawyers.
Then why hasn't Man U bought a title this? Like, come on, boys.
They won title after title for 30 years, so I don't think that argument applies. And someone said they didn't spend huge money. They spent money. Man City had a lot of money to spend.
Most money, up. Right? But you still.
Right, I didn't want to turn into this argument. Sorry, guys. I just was taking the piss a
little bit. You're right. No one's winning this argument, but I do think the Premiership, because it's such a strong league. And I think we don't give it enough credit when you have to go play, Burnley, or you got to go play Watford. Or you got there's sometimes money. It helps put you in the position to succeed with the schedule and with maybe top 6. But you got to have something special to actually win it. Yeah, to win it, you got to have something better than just money, and you got to have a manager. You got to have players that come together. I mean. That's the way I feel that I mean you haven't just splashed it out there and said, okay, we're gonna win now. We've spent some dumb money and Benjamin Mendy money.
The thing is you can get away with spending the dumb money and nobody notices, whereas other clubs suffer if they spend dumb money. They're like, oh crap, we just lost everything we had. Anyway,
no, but there's at least 5 or 6 clubs that can spend dumb money.
Yeah, to not the same amount though. And Newcastle will. The point is Newcastle are going to spend more than anybody.
United and Chelsea. Right away.
United, Chelsea.
They can spend dumb money if they want.
Now Newcastle.
And they will.
City.
All right. Anyway, sorry, Paul. I was trying to throw a little dig in there.
Hey,
no,
I'm happy to remind everybody that Man City beat financial fair play by cheating and having shell companies that move money around illegally and then buried it all with a team of lawyers, and everything you've done to have success has all been tainted by their illegal money spending. I'm happy saying that anytime you want.
All right, let's get back to the scores.
About
guys.
Newcastle.
But I would rather say emotionally, this is a very nice game because Christian Eriksen also returned to football.
He did.
Played some minutes for Brentford, which is like a super surreal moment for very many reasons, not the least of which it's fucking Brentford.
And he was dead.
After they were down on a red card as
and
well.
That's where they put him. Yeah, I was just like, no, man, you guys are down a man. Don't put him out there. Let him jog around. Don't
he's going to need a minute. He's going to need a minute.
Oh, my goodness, no. But he looked, not enough really to tell if he looked good or not. But like, it's just nice to see that he's on the track.
He didn't look out of place completely, so that's good.
It is nice to see that he's on track to play some professional football at whatever level it ends up being.
For sure.
Can I harp some praise on a Newcastle player? I watched about 25 minutes of this game. I know. But Chris Wood, who can't hit a barn door, man, he is a great foil up top. I didn't know how good he was at his hold-up play, at his switching play, at his
everything but shooting is really
everything except for scoring. Even his assisting. He's getting assists up at Newcastle. I did not know how good of like that target guy he was.
No, his numbers at Burnley, anything that got near him stuck to him.
He is impressive.
But it was Burnley, so you don't really notice as much. And he plays for Australia or New Zealand, one of the two. So you're never gonna really like see him on an international stage and go, "Oh God, that guy!" Like that guy's like Velcro with the ball. Anywho, Aston Villa 2, Brighton 0. Aston Villa earned their first win in 4 games over Brighton, who are on the worst run of results this season with 3 straight defeats. I don't think there's too much we have to talk about for Aston Villa, right? Like,
let's move on. The next game.
JP's
been waiting for this.
JP, all I know is that you sent us a rare photo of you drinking pints at like what must have been 9 a.m. for you.
Oh, it wasn't pints. We got pints and shots at 9 a.m. It was
constant
a rough
text
morning.
Updates saying that you're still drinking, you're still drunk, and then I think at one point you're like, "I wish you guys were here with me. I miss you."
Oh yeah, that probably.
So I assume you had a hell of a day.
It was also like my birthday kind of get together. So first I had that morning, and then like 4 hours later I had like 15 great friends over at a big
little COVID party
backyard. California's relaxed quite a bit actually. Our numbers are dropping.
I know. I'm making a joke.
So had some good Mexican food, real Mexican food. So nice. It was good. But I was just stoked on the Villa win. Some of the things that I had been harping on in the 5 things about Villa that you learned. Like McGinn sitting back too much and outside defenders bombing on. It seemed like it was something that it seems like he watches the show, Steven Gerrard. He definitely picked up on my tactics because next thing I know, we have Matty Cash has a sweet goal for us, gets a really stupid yellow. They're like, oh, look at how unified we are. He's showing his shirt, but he got a yellow for it.
So dumb.
And then they said literally after that game, don't give players yellows if they take off their shirt in support for Ukraine. So I don't know. That was stupid, but I was really happy with the result. I thought Villa played really well to stifle a really good Brighton team. I'm happy. I mean, I'm worried about Southampton, but I'm just happy we picked up a first win in like 6 games. I'll take it.
Nice.
He'll take it. Crystal Palace draw Burnley 1-1. Burnley earn a point coming back from behind to draw. Burnley
Standard
now have
Burnley,
the 7th best performance in the Premier League over the last 6 matches, finding form at the right time, sitting 18th. At the moment this game ended, they had 2 or 3 games still in hand with the teams above them. Obviously, they played again today. They did not win, so they have 1 to 2 games in hand over the teams above them. But still, I mean, the form is there. They're doing what they have to do. They're doing what they usually do. They're turning things around. Weghorst is looking like a real good foil for them. They've got guys stepping up. We'll talk about today's game because it might have some implications to the relegation race, but not a bad game. And Crystal Palace, what are you going to say about Crystal Palace? Like, what a forgettable season for them, I think. I know some of our fans, like Stan from Crystal Palace Toronto, might disagree, but just feels like a a blah. Season
Started
for
so
Crystal
well,
Palace.
and then they just kind of fell off and haven't really done anything. You know, it's been pretty boring.
I remember earlier in the season, like Vieira, obviously when they played City, and I mean, everyone gets up to the champions, right? But I thought they played very well.
Started really well,
Yeah.
didn't they?
They started really well.
Yeah, and they just get up for certain games, right? But when they don't get up for a game, they're very noticeable.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, how you got to come out and batter Burnley, or at least try to, right? But you know, they play teams. Sometimes they punch above their weight, and then anyone near them or close to them, sometimes they just fucking You know,
Burnley's
tough.
Burnley's
I will
really hard
say
to break down as well.
Burnley are hard to punch up. Like unless they have an
really
off
are.
day like they did today, they're
resilient.
pretty good when they want to be. They're pretty good when they want to be.
I think we pounded them pretty good.
They're only 1 point off Everton. They're literally at 21 points, and Everton's at 22.
Yeah.
But Everton are shit.
Oh my
Everton
god,
are terrible, and Everton have a worse goal differential. Leeds are 2 points above them with a 3 times worse goal differential than Brentford. They have 30 goals against
It doesn't
them.
matter, guys. Brentford are the ones who are going down. Burnley are safe. Brentford will go down.
You
wait and see.
think Leeds are going to stay up?
I think Burnley would go. Burnley would be safe before Brentford for sure. I think. Yeah, I would agree with that.
But Watford are going to go down despite the 1 point they got against drawing Man United. Man United failed to capitalize on numerous opportunities. This game was stupid, the amount of times they just couldn't put the ball in the net. They are now sitting in fourth, but the advantage goes to the teams below them with more games in hand. That would be Arsenal. That would be Spurs. And there's a lot of question marks amongst fans and pundits and basically the world about Cristiano Ronaldo's ability to be a goal scorer at the highest level. If he was able to score, easy day at the races for Man United. But he wants to be that main guy. He wants to be that guy who gets the ball in the final third, and he's just not doing it. Despite the fact that on a whole, Man United are looking much better than they had before. Whatever Ralph is doing is working. They're better at the back. They're giving up fewer opportunities. They are creating more opportunities for themselves. They just can't score, and it's a drag. I'm going to get on my soapbox a little bit. If you guys have anything else to say, go ahead. But I'm going to give a little bit of a soapbox moment to Man United fans.
I mean, it's a 0-0 draw with a couple of pretty average teams. I don't know why we're talking about it so much.
Cool. So if nobody else has anything to add, I'm going to do a soapbox moment because I have a platform. For any of you fucking idiots out there who use a 0-0 draw where we can't score to talk about Mason Greenwood and how we want to bring him back, stop being fucking idiots.
Yeah,
he is exactly where he should be. He is not part of the team, nor should he be. It doesn't matter if we get relegated this year because we can't score. Do not call for Mason Greenwood to come back into the squad. It's disgusting. Be better human beings. It's just a sport. What he did is something that transcends sport. I was like really upset when I saw a lot of Man United fans who were probably fucking plastic fans anyways talking about missing Mason Greenwood. And that's my soapbox. Wow. I'm done now.
That's fair. I completely agree with that and support your soapbox in that scenario.
Yeah, that's
good job, Forrest.
Man City, Everton. What a gutsy performance by Everton on what was probably going to come down to being an off day for Man City. It was a little bit of a combination of the two things. I thought that the unfortunate thing with this game is that it could have ended 0-0. I would have been happy with that result. A really weird mistake by the center back. Michael Keane puts his foot out the like 10 seconds later than he probably should have.
Awkward. Yeah.
Phil Foden is exactly where he needs to be to take advantage and score the goal. It's a nice goal. It just is an unfortunate way to get a winner in a game that probably deserved a much better winner from somebody, like a moment of genius to unlock a staunch defense, not just a really stupid house league kick of the ball moment by Michael Keane. It put a bit of a hamper on the game. What also put a bit of the hamper on the game is a missed handball call, which the world talked about even today. I don't understand what VAR is. I don't understand how they can go back and review that handball and not give it. And how
they're referees too. These are all referees. Like
it's
just
clear to everybody, everybody on the planet who's even like if you saw a soccer game and it was like with your 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds and all you understood was you can't use your arms in the game, you would have known that was a handball. It was so bad that the officiating organization had to make phone calls to the chairman of Everton today and Frank Lampard today to apologize. But I don't think they called up Jurgen Klopp to apologize because 3 points go to the top of the table. And I don't think it's ultimately going to matter in the race. I don't think this race is going to come down to
what would it
maybe the
have
2
been,
points,
though?
the 2 points that probably would have been lost by Man City if the call
kicking a ball off the goal line a couple years back, right?
and there's no guarantee a penalty is going to be a goal. So there's all these other kind of variables, right? But it just sucks because the officiating can't be this fucking bad. Like, it cannot.
It's terrible.
So bad.
Yeah.
When the consequences are like a team that's going to get dropped from the league and a team is going to
could
pull
mean
away for the
Everton
title.
going down potentially, like as well.
Totally.
Talk about the other side of it. Man City and Liverpool title race sucks for them if they don't win the title and they don't get all the glory. But imagine if you're Everton and you lose money, the money you get from being in the Premier League, and you're just about to build a new stadium, and your whole fucking club
I don't even know. Like, if you're Frank Lampard and you're getting a phone call and it's an apology, it almost makes it worse.
It's a piss take.
It's like you're admitting that you were fucking incompetent.
Yeah.
So again, and I actually haven't seen, but there was talks that it was offside well before something happened earlier, and that's why the call was originally called back.
They found the handball. No, I think you're thinking about something different, maybe.
No,
it's pretty clear, right?
There is talk that there might have been an offside before it all builds up. Pep Guardiola kind of mentioned it when he was asked if he thought it was a penalty
I missed
or not.
that part then. Sorry.
He even his opinion was that it was a handball. None of that came to be. It was a completely misinterpretation of the handball.
If it came off the ground and came a funny bounce up and whatever. Different, but his arm goes out, and I get that. It was crazy. We were bewildered. We were like, what the fuck?
How did we get away with that one? Yeah.
Now, the thing is, everything is that they do this sleeve thing, right? So our players going to start wearing the sleeves from the '90s that fit. Guys like us can fit those jerseys, right? Or are they going to continue to wear like the short sleeve, right? Because if it's the sleeve and the arm and where it hits that, there's so much discrepancy there.
I'd be going JP California. I'd be going bare arms all over the pitch.
There you go.
No. You wanted to hit your sleeve. The sleeve.
No, you forced them. You forced them to wear the tank tops. All players got to wear tank tops.
If that's what they start doing, I'll just be like, "Fuck the sleeves."
It's a little cold in England for tank tops.
Measure the red marks there, and you're good.
There's snow on the ground.
Wow, I mean, the entire like, it's so stupid. Even when they talk about sleeves, it's like, guys, like some people wear long sleeves, like.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I just don't understand how
full arm sleeves are an option. It's stupid. Such a bad call.
It's the same with offside though as well. Like you're talking an armpit down or a toe length or whatever. So we're actually talking about the exact same thing as many through balls that should be goals. The player made a great run. The ball went through. It was off by a half
millimeters
or whatever.
An armpit.
The thing is, in this specific play too, there was no threat of a goal.
No, he was in his own box.
There was no one even near him.
Are you trying to play like the defensive game or something? I don't understand what your point is.
Okay,
he controlled the ball in his own box with his arm. The ball
wasn't a swing. It wasn't like the guy swung it in his arm.
It doesn't matter, man. It's a handball.
Right. Okay, but if they don't have the rules in place to make
they have the rules in place. That's why they apologize. They just blew the call.
But it hit half.
It's not an interpretation thing. It was just a blown call. They've opted to it. Like, we fucked up. We looked at it from one angle and we maybe let that one angle like focus our energy, but like the other angle
that probably happens a couple times a game.
It actually happened about 4 or 5 months ago. I think it was Southampton who a player. It popped up. It hit him like right where the sleeve and the skin meet, and they called the PK. They got scored on. They lost the match, and that was the rule of the law written in before the season started. The problem is
somebody got a penalty against Wolves because it went up into their armpit.
Yeah,
and it was like, what is? It's just it's not for you, a Man City fan, to defend the call. It doesn't don't color yourself that way. They fucked up. It's not your fault. It's not a knock on Man City.
The rules
it's a penalty.
Don't talk over each other, guys. One at a time. Yeah,
that's a hard penalty. They just blew it. They just blew the call.
Semi.
Right, but what I'm saying is the rules are not laid out properly for anyone to understand. There's no logic behind any of it.
Well,
that one's a really simple one, man.
yeah, this one was laid out at the beginning of the season, and they had adhered to it. They just blew this one. They didn't call it correct.
What's the actual ruling?
It should have been a PK.
No, but what's the ruling on this whole sleeve thing then?
It went up into his arm.
If it hits the skin, it's an handball.
Like half skin, half sleeve is skin or what?
It's skin.
Skin
Is
at
that
all.
what they say in the rule book?
Skin
If
at
they
all.
say in the rule book it's half sleeve, half skin, it's
No,
skin.
there's no mention of skin in the book, guys.
No,
I
but
think it
let's
is.
guys.
No, because you can wear a long sleeve shirt. They would never. It's just it's not a question of interpreting the rules. It was a very clear penalty. They just looked at the wrong angle of the review, and they just didn't focus on the other angle, which made it very clear. They've opted to this. Like, it's not, again.
Yeah.
It's a rare discussion because we know exactly what they did. They
I'm not
apologized after the
defending,
fact and explained where they fucked up.
The problem
it's
isn't that
wild.
this is a
Did
rare
we get lucky?
discussion.
Sure. Do many teams get lucky? Absolutely. Like it
Yeah,
happens.
man, don't come at it like you're defensive. Like, this has got not like weirdly this has got nothing to do with Manchester
every
City.
week, and it's awful. It happens every week. I'll be watching it.
Yeah.
Palace or whatever. It's like, holy shit, how is that not
Reffing is
in the
so bad.
Champions League
really
final,
bad.
right? Or the Caribou final there? For whatever stupid reason, I watched some of it.
That was good. It was a good game.
Right, but there's there's offside calls that were toenails.
Yeah.
The
Wow,
refereeing
but that's
is just bad. The
that's
VAR
just different.
setup isn't efficient in England. You have the best coaches in the world, you have
Yeah.
the best players in the world, and you got shitty ass referees.
Yes.
It's not good enough for the quality of play.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like,
Agreed.
to be clear about this, VAR on offsides is a science. Like, it's not an interpretation. There's an actual computer program that tells you where the line is. It's very clear. Millimeters or not, it's accurate every single time.
Is it the
What we're
armpit?
talking about is
the
not a
armpit?
millimeters
Is it the
situation.
armpit?
What we're talking about is not a
No.
fine margin situation. We're talking about just a good old fashioned blown call, but with the benefit of an actual video screen, and they still blew it.
Okay. So Spurs score against us. Laurent scores with his hand, right? That for many people they'd say that's a handball, right? Champions League, right? That's off his hand.
It's off his thigh. No, it's off his arm.
Right. Okay. Again, same thing. Right. So how do you? There's too much interpretation. That's what I'm saying. If they say,
But in that case, it was hard to tell. In this case, it wasn't. I think that's the difference that Paul's talking about. If you watch the replay here, it's not hard to tell that's a handball. This is not in the category of, oh crap, VAR can't tell. The guy swings his arm, it hits his fucking upper arm.
Can we,
and
can we just bring it up? Can we get a video up?
no, I'm not. Sorry, I'm not defending that. I'm saying, why does this stuff happen every week?
Oh,
This
just
is the first time it happened, like for us or against us.
But this isn't the same thing as those other things you're saying. It's a false equivalency to say that the thing what happened in the Champions League final and what happened in this case they're quite different. What happened in the Champions League final is just really hard to tell because you can't really see where the ball hits, and it's hard to even look at it in a replay, stop motion over and over again. Hard to tell. In this case, he swings his arm and hits it. It's a penalty.
But if this was the first time we're talking about VAR being a problem, it'd be different.
It's
But
not. It's
we
just
know
we're talking,
VAR
and we're not talking about VAR being the problem. We're
Not
talking about the
because
refs.
of this incident.
No,
It's not
we're
this
not.
incident that made VAR a
Sorry,
problem. VAR
this is
problem
not a
because of VAR.
VAR issue. This
It's a
is
refereeing
the
issue.
quality of refereeing looking at a screen and on the field is shit. Like, this is,
Sure.
again, this is good old fashioned bad officiating. We're talking about a video replay because it was part of the process, but it's not to blame. This is just good old fashioned.
really
the guy
shit
was smoking
call.
crack
I
that
agree,
day.
but we talk about this every week. If it was the first time this ever happened, I'd be like, yeah, fuck it. But every week it's something.
No, I agree, but this doesn't fall into those other things that are something
They
because
do.
it's
People
blatantly
hate
obvious.
the VAR
It's
has
blatantly
been a
obvious that it
problem
was
for
a
years.
handball, though. Not oh crap, it's millimeters. It wasn't millimeters. It was maximeters. It was obvious.
I
It's
thought
really
it was one
Anyways,
play.
let's move on. Man City
Yeah.
are a bunch of cheats.
I thought he had the soft touch there.
West Ham are now back into the top four race.
What a weird team.
Beating Wolves 1-0. Yeah, this is
inconsistent
pretty
West
big.
Ham. Yeah, this was
This
a good
is the
result
second
for West
loss
Ham.
in a row for Wolves against a top four competitor. It's looking increasingly like it's going to be West Ham, Man United, Arsenal, and Spurs for whatever that top four finish looks like. Wolves are falling away from a race that they were in it for a minute. They were looking pretty good, but I think they just had too many fixtures on top of each other, too fast, too soon. They don't necessarily have that squad to handle that. So Wolves are pulling back in the race, while it looks like West Ham are kind of re-engaged.
I think these are the two teams, though, that you
their
probably
chances.
won't see in that final sort of push. And you could probably
West
add,
Ham and Wolves.
yeah, and you could probably add Spurs to that as well. I think it's going to be Man U and Arsenal that are likely going to be fighting for that spot. In the fourth.
There's only five 5 points between all 4 teams.
I'm aware of the
Really
amount.
tight.
I'm talking about form
Yeah,
and quality
I know,
of
I know.
what we've seen this season so far. That's what I'm
Could
going
I
by.
think you're right. I think Arsenal are actually like kind of ticking over.
They
fairly
look
well
they
right
look
now.
better, and Man United have gotten results despite them not looking
It is
great,
kind of wild to me that a lot of Arsenal fans are like really shitting on the idea of playing in any like Europa tournament. I'm like, I don't think they get what they are right now. Like,
That's a bit obvious, isn't it?
it's
Simi's
not
choking.
that bad a tournament, and you're a young team with a lot of young players. Like,
Look at
if
them
you
in
do end up
September as
there,
well.
They have a false sense of reality of where they are at.
They always have ever since Wenger, was
Left.
Wenger out for that amount of time. They always thought they deserved more than they did. You deserve it if you earn it. If you're a good enough team to do it,
They're
that's
just
it.
not. They're
They're
never
not
saying that.
fuck off,
man better.
and they just think that they it's owed to them somehow.
they
Fuck
should have
off,
treated
Arsenal.
that man
Anyway,
so
let's
much
get on
better.
with this scores. We got to get rolling.
Burnley lose today 2-0 to Leicester in what it could be a costly loss. Ben Mee
Big
went
loss.
down. He got pretty mangled in his leg and continued to play for probably longer than he should have, and had to come off in what looks like it might be a lengthy injury.
didn't see
not
that.
good because he's
did
so
not know.
important to the way Burnley play. He is the captain and he is a staunch defender at the back. But Leicester go the other way. Maddison and Jamie Vardy come off the bench. They both get involved. They both score. This is
Super subs.
Jamie Vardy has now scored 93 goals since he turned 30. He
Holy
is second
shit.
in Premier League history to only Ian Wright for the most goals after the age of 30.
Impressive stat.
It's a movie waiting to happen, man. I don't know who's going to play Jamie Vardy in the movie, but it's going to be a hell of a story, and I hope I understand the
How
accent
old
of the
is
actor.
he? How old is he? He has to be
101.
36,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh,
He's
is he
36.
that old now? I
Yeah.
was thinking he was only like 34, and I was
No.
like, how does he score almost 100 goals in 4 years?
Pretty sure he's 36.
It's
He
incredible.
Is, it is incredible.
He is insane.
But he's
if
slow
he
and
had
quick.
started this earlier, he would have been. He
God,
probably has done
35.
enough
He's
to be
35.
considered one of the
35.
greats. But if he had started doing this at a younger age, at the pace that he's been doing, what I like especially is like when you hear like guys like Erling Haaland talk about who he loves to watch off the ball, who runs into space better than anybody, and he's saying Jamie Vardy. I'm like, yes, all right, good. There's street cred for Jamie Vardy amongst the young strikers coming up. And I love it because some of the stuff he did today where he drifted off the shoulder of a defender back post, like that's just instinct as a striker, and he's got it in spades. He always has. But it's a big loss for Burnley.
Big win for Leicester.
Leicester are probably there for some sort of point for Burnley. It did feel like Burnley were playing at a level below what they had been doing for the 3 games before this. It is big points for Leicester.
Burnley, a lot of
think
games
Maddison-
catching up at the moment too. Sorry, Paul, to
Yeah,
interrupt,
that's
but I think
2
that I
games
think
in 4
maybe
days.
fixture wise they're really close together, and that's you're seeing a little bit of weariness going in with Burnley. And I
It
think
could be, yeah. They
in
might
some
have been
time they'll
leggy.
have a maybe get back to that and get back
might
in
have
that
been leggy.
conversation. Yeah.
But with today's game, that's the end of the game week.
Nice.
And it is at this point that we give out our weekly award for the player of the week, the Ice of State Star Performer of the Week. This week was a fairly straightforward pick, actually. Harry Kane, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 shots, 75% pass accuracy, which is misleading because some of the passes he was trying were
Yeah,
audacious
he
and
does
from
that all the
deep,
time.
with a who scored rating of 9.2. ISO Date will be sending him a renewal code so that he can join people in the comfort and safety of his computer screen and connect on a
wife's gonna be
real
super pumped
one-to-one
about that.
basis.
Yeah.
He could talk about anything he wants. He could talk about books. He could talk about putting it up things,
Nice.
whatever he wants.
Oh,
ISO
man.
Date's not here to date. They're here to judge.
Great performance from Kane, though. Well deserved. Again, he's sort of back to where he was to some extent from last season, but a little bit inconsistent, especially after watching today's result and performance of the team. Also, a team that's looking really, really tired with a lot of fixture buildup. But Kane, wow! I mean, he's more than just a 9. He's a 9 and a 10. Is some of the best passing in the league, and his finishing is incredible. Does it in both positions, so unbelievable.
Amazing. Brian, by the way, I meant to say, welcome to the knocked out by Middlesbrough FA Cup club.
Yeah, right. Cheers for
It's a
that.
sad club.
It's a sad
And,
club. Yeah. It happened
We're
today.
not happy. We just sit around kind of moaning, but
Yeah, we
it's a
should
nice
hang
club.
out together and just bitch.
Small
It'll be
group.
fun.
Small
It
group.
might help you long run, right?
I don't know. What helps us anything when we lose? When we
not having to play those games. I mean, Kane. I mean,
desperate for a trophy, mate.
Him and
Desperate for a
the
trophy.
City Killers, right? So
we have nothing left to play for other than maybe top 4, and that's like not likely. So it's a sad day. Anyway, let's move on from that conversation to let's get into the previews. Yeah,
we got more games coming up.
So many more games, and we actually have 2 slides for this because we couldn't get it all in one. That's how busy it is. Ridiculous amount of games, and this is why we don't need more games, probably, Simi, because it's just it's absurd.
There's probably going to be some double fixtures. It's true, folks. It's true. We're going to start off with Leicester hosting the. What are they going to be? Leeds.
This will be a fascinating,
kind of a wild one because, I mean, if you're a struggling team, you really want to play Leeds. That's just kind of the role they've been playing for the last little bit in the season. And Leicester are not struggling. They won today, but they're still trying to find their feet. With what I saw today of Jamie Vardy and Maddison, and I'm assuming that they're going to be fit enough to start this game, I cannot see the Leeds players reacting to the firing of Bielsa well. I don't think this is a new manager bounce situation. I think this is a heartbreak hotel situation.
He's not going to have time yet.
So I kind of suspect that there isn't really much Leeds can do, even if they try to be more pragmatic and line up differently. They still are hugely short-staffed. They still don't have center backs that can really play anything but front foot football. So I think Leicester are going to have a bag of goals day for this game. Anybody disagree?
Yeah, I think it's hard to argue. It'd be really interesting to see what the new manager does. Did Jesse March? Did he get the full?
He did. He's
like he'll be on the bench kind of scenario.
We don't know because he's still doing the paperwork.
It's not till Saturday, so should have time, right? Should have time.
Yeah, those things don't always come off that easy.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be on the bench. I think Bielsa left that comfy little seat. Yeah,
he's got the little stool. Yeah, the little stool he sits on.
The upside down bucket.
Yeah. He's going to be on the bucket. That would be amazing if they just left the bucket there and nobody touched it, but it was at every game the Leeds played moving forward.
They just left it, his icon.
I just kind of love that idea, actually. Aston Villa are going to host Southampton. Southampton have turned things around. They're pretty steady now. They're not stellar. They're really good at home. They're not fantastic on the road. Aston Villa have had a little bit of a yo-yo form recently. I don't know what to expect out of this game. I feel like these are 2 fairly evenly matched teams.
Should be a good game.
California, how do you feel?
Hearing that they haven't lost at home in 10 games, I was really worried. But I took a quick look at their away record. It's not super great. I'm hoping for a tie. If we can get a tie out of this game, I'll take it. If we play similar to what we did against Brighton, we might be able to edge a win because I think Brighton and Southampton are very similar teams in the fact of how they play ball. But Southampton have a really strange 4-4-2 setup. Sometimes it's a diamond. Sometimes it's like a flat 4 in the midfield.
But it'll be really interesting.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see how Villa cope with that. The Villa fans need to be with Villa on this one. If they turn the game's over, it'll be Southampton's. So we'll see.
I'm going to call it now. Mings gets targeted as a pressing trigger every single time he touches the ball.
Probably, yeah. I can see it.
It's going to be...
he's not great under pressure.
It's going to be sketchy for him.
Kind of a weird form of bullying.
But he got an assist by that against, what's his name? They just pinged it over the top of Brighton, and Oli Watkins brought it down and finished when he was...
a nice goal, actually.
Yeah, it was route 1, long ball, but as a Villa fan, I'll take anything right now.
Whatever works.
It happens.
No.
It works. Burnley are going to host Chelsea. Chelsea, who have just come off a heartbreaking loss in one of the best games, a cup final I've ever seen. I loved it. I don't want to dwell too much about it because it's in the past and we're a Premier League podcast, but what a game that was.
It was fun.
I don't know how Chelsea bounced back. I know Burnley can set up to be very defensive. I know they can be very difficult to break down. I don't know Chelsea's best 11 right now. I think there's huge question marks across
Lukaku is just
the entire
disaster.
Front 3 or front 2. This will be interesting. I can see this being a little bit of a banana peel for Chelsea. I don't think this is going to be a straightforward win. But I could be wrong. How do you guys feel about this one?
I'm right there with you. I think maybe a draw. Like I could see like a Burnley. This is what they love it. They love a 1-1. Chelsea go up, Burnley come back, score a tying goal towards the end of the game, or stay resolute and finishes 0-0. It's not going to be a lot of goals in this game. Chelsea's struggling to score. Burnley don't let a lot in, even though they didn't have the best day today. This is 6 days later. They should be well rested and comfortable enough to stifle Chelsea.
I disagree. I think Chelsea's going to come out and batter because, I mean, this is Tuchel. Like this is, this separates you from other managers, other preparation, other guys who are managing mid-level clubs all over. And if he wants to separate, you got to be able to bounce back for your team, for your fans, for the standings, everything. So I think Chelsea's going to batter them. I think if they don't, then that's a really big sign. So.
I think they've had enough of those signs, but yeah, I mean, I could see that that's the expectation, but just based on what we've seen from Burnley and what we've seen from Chelsea, it's hard to see a lot of goals in this game.
If they play like they did against Liverpool in the cup final, I think
they would trounce them for sure.
Easy win. I just don't know that they can do that again, just against Burnley. Like Burnley's a
different ball of wax.
It's almost like a tough game to get up for.
Yeah. You got to break them down too. You got to find a way to get
them today. Yeah. Right, we've talked. This is the most anyone's ever talked about Burnley, I think, on any podcast in the world.
They're involved in a lot of
shit. Fascinating team.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what are you gonna do? Burnley, they're fascinating. Newcastle are going to beat Brighton. Brighton, I would usually be like my go-to is it's going to be a draw, but for some reason, Brighton just not firing right now.
Falling off a little bit lately. Their formation's a bit strange. The body language of the players doesn't seem quite right.
But Suma's had a hard go of it since he came back from AFCON. He's one of the few guys that went to AFCON and came back and is below level.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else, like Mane and Salah, came back like lit up somehow with a fire.
Yeah.
But Newcastle, I think they're just going to be brimming with confidence. I think they want to put on a show in front of their fans now that they've got a pretty steady foothold on staying up in the league. Certain players are starting to bed themselves in. So I see this being a good game for Newcastle. And I always say this knowing full well that Brighton still are a very good team, hard to beat. Results don't necessarily mean that they're going to stay that way. On the balance of the season, they've been much better than their last 3 games. But
Cody Mack says Burnley are not fascinating. They're draw, so I hope they get relegated to League Two. I hate them.
God damn, that's about Burnley so much.
Cody, I agree, mate, and it's also fun to be pissed off at other teams at the moment.
But they're going to
everybody hates Burnley. Many people are just like, why are they still here? And then they just turn it on, and then they stay here. It's
annoying.
At a certain point, you got to start respecting.
By turn it on, you mean like put 10 men behind.
Do whatever it takes to win. Is what Burnley do.
Cody Max just jinxed himself. They're staying up.
Now
You're in trouble, Cody. You're in trouble, buddy.
But it works. For you. It's not going to work for Norwich. Brentford are desperate for points. I think it's fair to say that this is a must-win for Brentford if they're going to turn things around. If they lose to Norwich, there's an anchor tied around their logo on every standings for the rest of the season. They're just going to continue to sink and sink and sink. I don't know. I don't even know if I like Brentford to beat Norwich, though. As I say all this,
still like a fucking 0-0 draw written all over it.
I haven't seen anything
like
good.
I've
seen better play from Norwich, who are losing, than I have from Brentford, who have been losing as well.
Neither team,
but are higher up in the standings.
Is it bad? I just want to see Christensen score again. Eriksson.
That'd be nice.
One sweet free kick.
This would be a good game for him. This could be a really good game for him to get back in and see how he can impact this team, because he's going to be night and day over everybody else in the midfield of Norwich. But then Norwich don't score goals and they don't win games, but they do control games from the middle. Their midfield is a very competent ball moving midfield. They just suck in the final third and they suck in the defensive end. So we'll see how this plays out, but Brentford really need the win. The takeaway of anything here is that Brentford must win this game if they want to turn things around and try to avoid the drop. It's a little early to be saying things like that, but against Norwich, everybody's got to be taking 3 points.
Big points.
Just how it's going to have to go. Wolves are going to host Crystal Palace. This is an interesting game. I don't know what's going on with Wolves right now. Wolves have
I think it's a minor blip. I think it's
Yeah,
a minor
I think
blip. They haven't
they'll
played
rebound.
bad in their losses. You know, they haven't been like they haven't played great. They haven't played like the level we've seen Wolves capable of playing at. But they haven't played bad, and I think it's just a minor. And again, I think it's the buildup of games for all the teams. You're starting to see mistakes from players that maybe we wouldn't have seen before, or just a little bit slower to get to the ball, or the passing isn't quite as crisp. I think we're seeing that from a few teams who played a lot of games. Wolves look like that a bit for me, but I think they'll be fine. I think they'll beat Palace. It won't be like by a lot, but it'll be relatively
2-1, 1-0 win.
Yeah, something like that for sure.
I
But
think
I would say
Wolves
1-0.
can
Wolves will
rebound.
be tight. Palace won't get a heck of a lot on them, and Wolves will get another win again and be back on track.
I don't think they've lost 3 in a row since the beginning of the season, Wolves. So I could see them kind of rebounding here. And Crystal Palace seem to really be stuttering, and they're
Super
away from home.
inconsistent.
Yeah, like I could see Wolves edging this one.
You know what's weird about Wolves, and nobody really talks about it because, I mean, they had the money. It wasn't that big a deal. But Fabio Silva was not cheap. They bought a 19-year-old striker for
45?
I want to say 45 or something.
45.
It's around 40, yeah, 40. It's a lot
And
of money.
like I think this is his second year now, and he's still kind of like
good.
he's okay, but he's not 45 million.
He's like Brian Heel. Like he's like the same level. Like players that have this maybe something about them that you spend the money on. You're like, oh god.
Yeah.
A lot of those players though, especially in Spain, they had so good on the ball, way more time, look a lot better in a YouTube video than you chuck them in the Premier League. They can't do the same stuff because they don't have the time.
For me, it's if you're going to spend money on potential, play them, and if you're not playing them or don't plan on playing them, like if it's a purchase for down the road, loan him out, give him playing time because he's not going to get better unless he's playing week in and week out. And they've just kind of have him on the shelf whenever he plays. Like he started the last game, he doesn't look terrible, but like I don't expect him to be comfortable playing in the Premier League with the amount of games he's played. I don't expect him to have like a run of form, and he's not an academy a guy who's taking his chance. He's a 45 million like purchase.
Yeah,
it's just a weird decision. It was like one of the few transfer decisions I've seen from Wolves where I was like, what's going on here? And I'm confused.
Portuguese,
confused.
Probably something to do with the agent that they work with. What's his name? I forget his name. But he probably works for him.
Shit. Is it Mendes?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but he usually gets them deals, not this.
But he probably represents the player and was like, okay, this kid's gonna be good.
No. That's assuming too much. He's part of their board as well, and he's gotten them like wicked deals and players that nobody's heard of that were not 45 million. Like this is it might have just been their punt. It must have been like, we have the money, let's just take a chance, maybe. This next one's going to be, I think, a great game. Liverpool are going to host West Ham, and for some reason, I feel like this is going to be an entertaining match. I think West Ham are up for it sometimes.
Saturday, 12:30. Simi, you gonna be showing this game at your bar? Do you reckon? Or do you not play Liverpool games?
No. We'll all probably watch at home. We're more just City, not regular Prem. So
right.
If there's a game on after when we have, if we play and there's a game on,
you'll just pop it on with no sound kind of thing.
That one, nah. We'll just sit home, be big West Ham fans for the day.
Yeah, for sure.
I can see.
Yeah, go on, JP.
I could see Liverpool just getting 3-0. I just feel like they are steamrolling teams right now.
I think it'll be comfortable.
I mean, they played a great game against Chelsea, and they didn't create as much as normally. But Chelsea's a different animal than West Ham, and they are so drilled. And that new guy, is it Luis Diaz?
Yeah, Luis Diaz. Yeah, he's fantastic.
He is amazing. He had the most touches in an opposition box in that final against a team like Chelsea.
Yeah, it's impressive.
It was incredible. I think they're gonna. I don't think it'll be comfortable, but I still think it'll be like a 3-0 win where
I think it'll be comfortable.
I think they'll just slowly outwork, outplay, outshoot West Ham.
Just Liverpool them basically.
Just clop ball it up.
Worth reminding everybody, in November, West Ham beat Liverpool 3-2. One of the few losses Liverpool have had this season, but it's different beating them at home. Beating them at home
different in the circumstances now too. Liverpool under pressure are a team that manages that situation quite well, and I think they'll do it this time.
Yeah. Watford are going to lose to Arsenal. I don't think anybody wants to talk too much about that.
Yeah, obvious.
3-0, move on.
If you saw the Man United game, they just I feel like they've stopped. Like I just think everything is
They're
super
not
open
playing anymore. Yeah.
Arsenal are going to like walk in and it's going to be super open. Ben Foster's a bit of a genie sometimes, so that might play a role, but
Got me 6 points on my fantasy team last week.
I don't see the statistics of Watford's defense being improved being anything other than they've had some people have like off days against them. I don't see anything impressive about the way they're playing defensively so far in the last 3 or 4 games they've been playing.
Yeah.
Brings us to the match of Sunday. Manchester City host Manchester United in a game that will not be interesting or entertaining for Man United fans, and probably should be a return to form for Manchester City.
United have won over on City a little bit the last couple seasons, don't they?
I'm going to beat them in November this year.
If there was a chance that United had any kind of decent record so far against Pep, it would be that Ole had a good record against
Yeah,
Pep.
maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
I don't think that you can translate the success of the squad and what Ole did with the squad to what Ralph is doing so far. It just comes down to they're not playing terrible. Man United are not off it. They're just kind of okay with it, but they're not playing well enough that makes me think they're going to suddenly find goals and be clinical against a team that will not like give them many opportunities. I also know that Man City will have their fair share of opportunities, and they just got guys who are more clinical. So this could be a fairly ugly match, all things said, because Man City hosting, a few other things that just kind of go against my club. So I think this will probably be like a not pretty scoreline for Manchester United. But you know what? At the same point,
Sammy, how are you feeling about it, buddy? What's going on here?
But of course, too, it's like the derbies are for City United they're like separate trophies in the year, right? Weird things happen in derbies. When we were, bottom of the table and you play, we would pull one out against United at the top. Like things happen, and so they always make you nervous before the game and during it, and just it's a different vibe. It is, it's 3 points you're going for, but it's just you want that so bad because it's City United. So anything can happen there. I mean, obviously, I think if we come out and show everyone that hey, we might have had a little blip lately, a few of them, but this is how we can actually play. I think that's going to really set the tone, and it'll be interesting lineup, right? Who's in for this big game because everyone's healthy. We haven't had everyone healthy in a while, right? So does Mahrez start? Does Sterling start? Does Grealish get in? So lots of decisions, obviously.
What an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, it's like, he's like, we have a lot of people injured. I'm like, have you? Like, I wouldn't have known. You would never know. You don't notice when City have players injured because their squad is full of
even like your backup left
players.
back, who is a center mid, Zinchenko, would start in any other team up until maybe the top 5.
He's worked his balls off to get there, though.
Dude, I love him. I think he's great.
He's phenomenal.
I liked him in the Euro. In the summer, I thought he was good.
Yeah, he's fantastic. But he was, like not a stud signing, he's worked really hard to get that there.
Yeah, I've always liked him. There's a few players at Man City that I like that do that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
Grealish,
fair to
Jack
say,
Grealish, big one for you.
The best squad in the Premier
maybe a
League,
little bit.
possibly the best squad in the planet.
Hard to argue with that. Yeah, like I what do you guys think scoreline wise here? I think Man City probably 2-0.
3-0.
Yeah. I think
I'll go 1-1.
United have struggled so much to score against shit teams. I can imagine what it's going to be like when they don't have the ball.
Yeah, I can see them not crossing the halfway line for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think it'll be. I wouldn't say that. I think they'll have a bit of the ball, but they're going to struggle to get in behind City. I think
they're not that bad, JB.
Yeah,
no, it's not
also
about that.
could be a typical City game, right? Where it's like
it's
balls
Pep
going
will
over
tell
our
them
heads,
keep
knocking
the
them in.
ball.
Like
if they play anything like Spurs against City, if they recognize how to beat Man City, then there's a template there because there is though. Hey, Stimmy, it's facts whether you like it or not. That's every time we play City, we do the same thing to you guys, and we get results.
Yeah, Son and Kane show up and play the game of their lives.
It wasn't the game of their lives. You just expose your high line. Your high line is gonna be at half every time.
It's not a secret. Your best chance against City is the counter.
Counterattack,
absolutely.
get him
when
behind.
a team has 80% of the ball, you got to counterattack them, right?
Yeah, but and then you have players who can finish.
But exactly, you have to have the players who can do it. That's a big difference.
Man United should, on paper, have that. So if they, I say should, but they haven't been performing lately, and that's why I say they won't score.
Yeah,
Jadon Sancho will have to have a game of his life.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't even think he has to have a game of his life. I just think certain other guys
a couple
have to
of
play.
moments.
I just think other guys need to have a regular, play at the level they can. Like Rashford, if Rashford played regular Rashford, but as an example, if Rashford played regular, like how he's capable of playing, you don't need to have the game of your life against Man City. That just means regular Rashford will probably get 1 to 2 chances against Man City.
He's got to finish them. Just
take 1 or 2 of those. But as it is right now, where he's at, I'm sure he's going to play the ball out of bounds or something silly. It just, that's where there's no real confidence in knowing what will happen, because I've got so many guys that are just not there. The team is playing well. They're organized. I'm sure they'll line up in an organized manner, but I can just see the mistakes throughout the team. Like if Maguire plays, he'll make a mistake. Ronaldo won't put a ball in the net that he should. Rashford will be kind of out of it. Bruno will get too combative with a referee and get distracted. These things kind of add up that I don't have a lot of faith that they're going to pull a result. But if you're going to ask me for a result, because I am a United fan and I believe in powerful thinking, I'm going to say 1-1. 1-1.
There you go. Cody has a problem with me not talking to Paul about how to use his mic. Cody, I've talked to everybody about how to use their mic. I can't babysit them when they're at home in their own space.
Yeah, what is Cody just sitting at? Is he just sitting at home chirping though?
Cody is a Spurs fan. He's currently miserable. He's dealing with getting knocked out of another cup competition. Yeah. He's basically taking it out on us because he doesn't want to talk about Spurs. So he's here to take the piss.
Take a nice long shower.
Cody's a lovely human. Love you, Cody. But fuck off. All right. We're gonna
I think he's trying to give like technical notes, which I don't mind. But at the same time, I'm like, fuck, man, there's a way to say it.
I also don't hear any popping or anything in your
I don't hear that stuff either. That's the strange part.
What's Cody saying? I will ruin
the show. If you let me is a big one.
All right, Cody, well, thanks, buddy. That is enough for you. We'll we've got one more game to do, Paul.
I want Cody to know that I would ruin his mom if she let me do it again. Whoa, Cody, I got a mic and you don't.
Mike,
no, I'm just joking.
There goes our future sponsorship.
Guys, she's a lovely lady. You know it. We've all been in the room with her. You know she's very giving. The next game is Spurs hosting Everton.
Sorry,
if there's a team that Spurs want to play after getting knocked out of a cup, I don't know if it's Everton. Maybe it is. I don't know. This is a weird game. Both these teams are so not where they should be on paper. Both are much better on paper than what you've been seeing recently.
Are they though?
But Everton can't play.
I think Everton are.
Everton should be a better. Spurs are probably right where they are. They're where they should be, in the middle of a rebuild with a manager who may or may not stick around, with a bunch of players who aren't good enough. It's just facts. There's a bunch of players that are. There's a good solid 5 or 6 players that you keep, and then you got to wipe it out completely. And that is a team that lose to Middlesbrough away in an FA Cup, that beat City at home, or beat City at their ground, lose to Southampton and Wolves. It's just the inconsistency. It's so hard to tell which Spurs is going to show up. That's been the nature of this season under every manager, both managers we've been under. It's relatively obvious. I think seventh position or 8th is where we'll probably likely finish, and that's where we are right now. So.
The question is, how are you going to play against Everton, not where you're going to finish your season?
Well, you're talking about 2 teams who are kind of experiencing a similar scenario, and I don't think Spurs.
Well, I want to focus in on this game. You tell me your thoughts on this game.
I think Spurs should have enough to beat Everton at home, but it's Lampard, and I feel like that's kind of like playing Chelsea to some extent. So I'm nervous about that. What is Cody on about now? Here, I thought Forrest was into dads. Sorry. All right.
That was so good.
Anyway, Cody is funny, very funny. So he's adding some sense of humor.
He's not.
Sorry,
wrong.
Go ahead, JP.
I think this is the perfect game for Spurs because Everton are so shit away from home. Yeah. They're so bad away from home. I think Spurs, while Brian, you're clearly on the edge here. You're about ready to jump off the cliff.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I'm just honest.
I mean, with your team, you're about ready to jump. Metaphor. I think this is the game for Spurs to get a quick 1-0, 2-1 result. Just get the 3 points, put Everton down in the dumps a little bit more. I think you guys can have more than enough quality up top to cut them open because Everton are clearly struggling at the back.
Yeah. I mean, all of those things are probably true. Go ahead, Paul.
And yet, though, they played very well against Manchester City, who are going to be a bigger test than Tottenham when it comes to like defending. I thought, bar one freakish moment of just like
City weren't that great in that game either.
That will never happen again. And it was an off day for Man City, but I thought Everton played quite well. And they had like Decore was back, and they had a new look midfield. I thought the energy was strong. Richarlison is seeming to find his feet against. So I don't know. This is maybe the best matchup this weekend, where I think there's a good game underneath these two teams and the form that they've had.
Dele Alli's return to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is a conversation there.
A little side.
He can't play. Oh wait,
side area.
We sold. He's not on loan. So,
he's sold. Okay, yeah, you're right. My bad.
Yeah. So there's a few storylines there. I think the Lampard one is always he obviously at Chelsea beat Spurs for the entire time he was there. So there's a little bit of like I don't know, a little bit of small stories in a lot of different places that it makes me nervous. I'm nervous about every game now. There's nothing comfortable about being a Spurs fan.
It's part of the fun, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It's fun. It's fun when we win. It's absolute shit when we lose, and it's every other week. So it's the roller coaster is difficult.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah, well, it's been mine for being a Spurs fan for 30 years.
It's what keeps us coming back, right? Come on.
It's torture, but it's fun torture.
That's right.
I guess that's it, Paul.
Simmy's sitting there going, "I remember those days."
Yeah.
No, we got another day, don't we? Got another day.
Best league in the world. Yeah.
Those days were shit. So double game week fantasy tip for everybody. There are some teams that will be playing twice this week. Southampton, Newcastle are two of those teams. They will play each other on Thursday. I don't know what to say about this. Southampton have a very good home record that's been established. Yeah. Newcastle are good, but they're not great. I think this is probably going to look for a Southampton win. I would say if you're in fantasy football, Southampton defenders are maybe worth looking at with a double. There's some good choices there. There are also good choices with the Wolves defense, who are playing twice. They're hosting Watford. I think this game should be straightforward. I think if there's a return to form, should Wolves lose their game in the weekend, this is the bounce back game. This is the almost guaranteed win.
Should be comfortable, yeah.
It should be comfortable.
Need a cheap striker, pick up Ollie Watkins two games, and he just got a goal, and when he scores he usually gets 3 or 4, and then he's dry for 10 games.
Are we doing fantasy here? Is that what's just happened?
I'm just throwing it out there. You guys were already on it.
Brian really doesn't like people talking about fantasies for some reason. He thinks it takes over the show.
Luke's job only.
No, I don't mind it. It's just
no, but you always have this weird reaction to it. Like it's somehow not related to what we're talking about, even though it is exactly what we're talking about.
Not really.
And then Leeds, you gotta mark this on your calendar, JP. No matter how your week goes, you're gonna go to Leeds and you're gonna get pennies thrown at your
I gotta think about what I'm doing Thursday to just plan my day around this game, because
I mean that's a good time for you, right?
Yeah, that's not
11 a.m.
No, it's about 11:45. Yeah, so it'll be a good game.
Turn it into your Saturday, just take the day off.
I'll have 15 minutes of work, and then I have 2 hours of nothingness just watching this game at work. It'll be great.
Perfect. Sounds great.
I'll make it happen.
Man, just watch it delayed.
I think it's comfortable for Villa with Leeds and the disarray, but it'll be interesting to see what happens after Leeds' first game with the new manager, or this could be their first game with the new manager.
And at home with the fans possibly on their back or with them. It'll be interesting.
It'll be tasty for sure.
I think the fans are going to give it to the ownership in this game. I don't think the fans are going to be pretty about it. I think they're going to make a ruckus the first game that they have a chance. Like when that stadium is full of Leeds fans, I think they're going to make some noise against the decision to allow Bielsa to go. I think it's going to be a weird and very interesting event. But that's the week. That's what we got coming up, and then it goes back to regular scheduled programming the following Saturday. But yeah, big games.
Are we or after this Thursday? Do we know that is the games in hand caught up, or much of the games in hand caught up? There's still a couple more probably for
Burnley's still behind.
I know that we still got to play Arsenal. We haven't even played Arsenal in our home game for them.
It's a good chunk, but there are still some teams like Arsenal that have more games than most.
We have 2, I think, on you guys. I think Arsenal do as well.
Burnley
Arsenal
will
have-
need 1 or 2.
I think Arsenal actually have 3.
Maybe even 3. Yeah.
I know Chelsea have a lot of games in hand.
Chelsea have
and
a
they
few,
still-
yeah.
Yeah,
So
they do.
there's asterisks all across the standings where you really have to look at how many games have been
Arsenal,
played.
Leicester.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when that finally comes to fruition. At what point in time in the league will they're finally okay? We're caught up. We've got 5 games left. Everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
Boom. We'll see the race
Yeah.
and where everybody is because it's still you can't like games in hand. Games in hand aren't 1 games. They're just games in hand that you got to play against a team that you didn't get to play earlier in the season.
It's
Anything
getting
can
worked out. They are kind of about 3 weeks out before a team plays twice. That's when it gets scheduled. So it is slowly getting
getting there.
scheduled
Yeah.
out.
Maybe
I wouldn't
over
be
the course of this
surprised.
month.
3 or 4 more weeks. I think they're
Yeah.
gonna find the times to book them all. I know it's weird, but the people who fixate on those rescheduled games the most and have the most information about when it's going to happen and how it will happen are the fantasy football people, because for them,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's a
You have to
big
pay
move
attention. Yeah.
in fantasy. So a lot of them have
You talking about fantasy again? Just kidding.
yeah, pretty accurate theories about when those things are going to get announced, and they usually are right. So if you really want to know when those things are going to get scheduled,
It's basically how we know what game weeks we have. Paul pays more attention to that than anything else. It's keeps us
I
organized.
don't know
here at
how he does it. I give
keeps
up
us organized here at the
Guys.
North End.
You just don't become 700 in Canada at fantasy football without paying attention to things. I'm sorry.
That's true. I paid no attention.
Isn't
Clearly.
that the
That's my
whole
problem.
population of Canada?
Oh, funny one from JP.
JP with a keen insight into the American education system.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
in JP, California.
Hold on. My state has a bigger
Hey, wait a minute.
population
He's a
than your
teacher
whole
too.
country.
He's a teacher too. He's got no
Damn.
excuse.
My
Yeah.
state has a bigger population than your whole country. So
What does that have to do with anything?
it has a lot to do with it.
It doesn't. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I want to get to Simi. That's the end of our show, folks. Thanks for watching, everybody. Simi, thank you so much for being here. Opera Bob's
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Northeast corner at Dundas and Ossington in the lovely city of Toronto. Hop on over there for the burger and say hello to Simi. And if you're a City fan, that's the place to be.
Cheer for the Blue Boys.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks,
Be a
buddy.
good one.
Appreciate you
Thanks
being here.
again, fellas. Appreciate having us on.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. We'll get you back on here when we get closer to the end of the season. If there's a race, we'll try to get you and Azaz on as well, so you can argue with each other about who's going to get there.
Yeah.
Well, we can all be just sad as we watch.
We do best.
Yeah.
right,
Thanks
see
everybody
you,
for
boys.
watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll be back. I don't know, at some point when Paul tells us when it's going to happen, because we got to squeeze it into the stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult.
I'm going to be by a pool drunk out of my nut. You guys are on your own.
I'm gonna be alone on a week for this, but I'll manage that. It's fine.
You have to watch the kids, Brian.
I know. Yeah.
Ha!
It is what it is. But thanks everybody for watching. Cody, thanks for your comments. Has he got one to finish?
Don't put it up.
Oh, sorry, man. I saw.
So
Well, that's a good way to end. We'll talk to you soon.
My dad watches this and my mom is dead.
This is the North End.